New awards being created to identify the best banks and banking products for small businesses. These awards are being conducted by CANSTAR CANNEX. They've rated 340 term loans, 69 overdrafts, 39 credit cards and 86, or is it 88? It's 88 deposit accounts to basically discover just what offers the best value to small business customers. This year, the top overall award taken out by Westpac. They narrowly beat last year's winner, ANZ. Let's get more on the awards with Steve Mickenbecker, Head of Research at CANSTAR CANNEX. A warm welcome to you. It was a close-run thing.
It was.
What was the difference between first and second place?
Yeah, well, this year, Westpac have always been up there. They've always been one of the contenders for this award, and ANZ pipped them last year. This year, Westpac has jumped over ANZ. They've done a few things this year that have really actually lifted their position substantially. They've brought in new products. They've actually appointed bank managers. They're recruiting 100 people this year and more next year and the year after. And it's back to the old bank manager style concept. Plus they do a whole range of online tools and advice conferences and the like. So they're doing a great job across the board for small business.
So really it's about FaceTime winning the day. This is coming back into vogue, you believe?
Yes, it is actually, yeah. I mean, the banks, I guess starting about 10, 15 years ago, started really winding back the level of service they were providing. And I think across the board, but in particular small business, where people were just, I just think at that stage, banks just weren't valuing small business enough. This is being wound back now, and we're seeing the bank manager that we used to relate to 20 years ago.
Well, in fairness though, Steve, is this a one-year wonder? You'll be wanting to see this continue into next year, not that they've just kind of, I guess, tried to bump the competition and use a bit of sort of pap and trivia.
Yeah, look, obviously I'd hope not, and I don't believe that is the case. I think there's a really strong commitment. I mean, we've spoken to the Westpac people, and they really do indicate that the segment is something they really want to target and provide much better service for. So I think we're very confident that they'll continue to invest there, and I think we'll see the other banks starting to respond.
Tell me about the new credit cards. That was also a winning feature. What are they doing differently?
Yeah, what they're doing, it's a new range called the Business Choices credit cards. And they brought in two cards. Now, there's a rewards card for somebody who spends big but doesn't really need the credit side of it. Right. So it's a transactional thing. And the beauty of that is that the rewards are actually unlimited. So you get your Qantas frequent flyer points and there's no limit. Now that's a great benefit for a business because a lot goes through.
You know that for sure?
Yeah, well, look, I don't have the exact figure there, but it is unlimited. There's no cap on the amount. So, and small businesses put a lot through the card. Yeah. Now there's also a card though for the party that actually wants to use it as a credit facility, and that's a low credit, low cost card. So that's a terrific range of cards they brought in.
Still looking at the stats though, business loan rates, when we talk interest rates, are not really what you'd call competitive.
Yeah, look, I mean, we've tracked this over the last 18 months, and as the Reserve Banks move down, the standard variable rates and the package rates that the banks offer to home buyers have come down with it. And sure, there's been a little bit of a gap at times, but they've come down. Now, business loans have come down also, but a gap has opened up. So the banks haven't actually passed on the full rate increase. And even on their residentially secured business loan, what we're seeing is that there's up to sort of around a 1% gap to the standard variable. Now, of course, your home borrower gets a package discount on top. So the difference now can be about 1.7%, whereas it was just the amount of the package discount. So that's opened up, and that's not good news for businesses.
So on balance, would you believe they would be wanting traction on that, small businesses, as opposed to a singing, dancing credit card that gets you air miles? I mean, if you can't keep your business running, you're not going to be jetting off to Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we would love to see small businesses receive the same benefit that home buyers have received. Unfortunately, the banks are looking at it and saying, all right, now we're starting to lose a little bit of money on the portfolio. Some of the signs aren't good. Some businesses aren't doing that well. So they're really clawing a bit of risk margin back into it.
And you're saying, in a sense, businesses are actually therefore paying more in some cases for funding than before the rate cuts began.
Yeah, look, it can be, because there's a little bit of a double whammy with business. I was just talking about the residentially secured piece there. The other thing that has been happening is that some customers are going to their bank for their review, and the bank is saying, look, we're actually bumping up your risk margin. So the people aren't actually paying just the base rate, they're paying base rate plus a margin. And in a lot of cases, the bank is saying to them, look, we want a bigger margin because we're saying the risk in the business portfolio has increased.
You're saying, though, that if you go to see a bank manager and ultimately, quote, if they value your business, they won't want to lose you. Yeah. So how can they get away with that sort of thing?
Right. Look, it still is a competitive market. I mean, people look at it and say there are 4 big players, and yes, there are. Yeah. But if you're a small business and you're going well and you've had no trouble with your bank, they really want to keep your business.
So there's some wriggle room.
There is wriggle room, absolutely. There's a negotiation between your bank manager and your business, and if worse comes to worse, you might have to threaten to leave. But
fair enough. Threats, idle threats, and all that.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. You talk about as well this, and you commend the alliance of St George and Westpac on reducing penalty fees from $40 to $9 across the board. Why don't they scrap them all together? Because notably, CommBank, I believe, did.
Yeah. Look, I think part of it is that there's a behavioural thing, and I think they're saying, look. One, we don't want people not adhering to the arrangement that's been made, and that's understandable because, I mean, that's where bad debts can start.
They make all their money when people then don't make their payments because the interest starts clocking up. So how can that be understood?
Yeah. Look, they really don't want to lose money, though, and the first sign of a problem is when a business can't actually stick to the overdraft limit. So that's one thing. The second thing is that there's handling costs. There's always handling costs because they've got to report on it. They've got to understand what's going on. They've got to chase it up.
Isn't that all sort of computerised? I thought that's why they were spending billions, these big 4 banks, getting it all automated. I mean, what's this about handling costs?
Yeah, it is to a point. But then ultimately, there's somebody who manages the account and has to find out what's going on with the business.
That's going to cost me $40. Right, fair enough.
Well, it's come down significantly, though, from where it was. It's way down.
Granted, but not eliminated altogether. Sure. What do you want to see in the next wave of applicants for these awards? They've been sort of, entrepreneurial when it comes to the managers. What's the next step?
Well, I think more of that, absolutely more of that, because that is such a critical thing to good service in the business sector. Business isn't quite the same as consumer in that it's not quite as formula driven. Every small business is a little bit different. So that's very important. We'd love to see more of that happening. Secondly, we would like to see the rates come down further. That would be the real plus for business who's doing it tough. And so we want to see that happen. I guess the third thing is we want to see continued product innovation. Continued payment services and card services and better transaction accounts, really just to round out the whole offering for business.
The price of the government guarantee, has the government extracted enough in return for what was a golden gift for these banks? That is to say, why not move on rates as the price for getting that guarantee? Yeah,
the guarantee's a little bit of a two-edged sword in a way. I mean, it does add to there's a cost. The banks do pay a cost for the wholesale side of it. Now, on the retail side, the big banks would say, look, we don't really need it. We are the quality, lower risk option, and they'd say, look, we don't really need it. Now, the smaller players, the mid-range organisations, they've really received the benefit of that. Now, I think the government acted to save a potential for a system crash. Now, I don't think it would have happened, but that was the reason they acted. So the bank's really benefiting from it. Well, I think some are and some aren't. It's a little bit uneven, the benefit. So, for the government to seek to extract something for it now, I think it's a little tough.
Steve, we must leave it. It's been fascinating. We'll have you back next year.
Terrific.
That will go in no time at all, Steve.
It will, actually. Good.
Yeah, CANSTAR CANNEX. Many thanks indeed.
Thanks, Carson.